guys so much for checking out my channel. I wanted to get this series out because I'll be taking bookings, meet and greets, appearances in the next coming year, and I just wanted to let you guys know straight up from me on my channel, on my platform, any questions that you guys have. I just worry about being asked questions at a meet and greet, and then the words get twisted and then the dirt sheets go crazy like they usually do. So I wanted to let you guys know here first and just be straight up. But before we continue, if you guys could please chop that like button and hit the subscribe, I will greatly appreciate it. And if you guys are returning subscribers, thank you guys so much for continuing to support me in this journey, and I just appreciate you guys. So I wanted to put this series out. First of all, my memory is really bad. I took notes, but we'll see how well that does. But I just wanted to say that the Mae Young and my time at NXT was probably the best time of my whole WWE career. I have nothing bad to say about the Mae Young and NXT. And in this series, I will be talking about, retribution, main roster thing, my release, things like that. But I figure instead of making one long video, because that may take an hour, maybe two, I'm just going to cut it up into pieces just so I don't bombard you guys with a lot of information. So this first chapter is about my Mae Young experience plus getting signed. And this was a while ago, at least to me. The first Mae Young was, I want to say 2017. And the second Mae Young was 2018. Yeah, I think so. I will double check that, but like I said, I have really bad memory. But the first Mae Young I did was short and sweet. I enjoyed the experience. There was nothing bad about it. Like, my first match was with an old friend, Sarah Rowe, or her name was Sarah Logan at the time. And she's awesome. She made everything super easy. We go way back since freaking Japan. So having a match with her was awesome. And then after the first Mae Young, it was just, I've been in contact with WWE, with Canyon. So we've been emailing back and forth for a while. And then I broke my leg. I broke my leg in the independence. And so I let him know immediately, and he was quick to just say, focus on recovery, get healthy. Once you are healthy, email me back and we will continue on with our talks. So I was out for about 5 months. And my first match back was at WrestleCon for WrestleMania weekend. I remember because it was the first time I seen Keith in a while, and we caught up just very briefly as he was finishing a show and I was starting a show, and we're passing each other in the hallway. So that was my first weekend back from injury. So I emailed Canyon, let him know that the weekend was a success. I was able to wrestle with no problem. And, he thanked me for keeping in contact. And then maybe a couple months later, I received an email asking me if I wanted to do the Mae Young Classic 2. And of course I said yes. I had a great experience the first time. So the second time was awesome. We did the car wash. We did, I met my good friends Mickey and Val doing makeup. It was really fun. And then I had a bunch of my friends there too, like Shayna and Allison Kay. It was awesome. It's both Mae Youngs. I was able to wrestle my friends and make new friends. So the first match I did at the second Mae Young was me versus Allison Kay. So anyone that knows me and AK, during this time we were having the Frenemy World Tour where we were wrestling each other all over the place on the independents, and it was awesome. She has become one of my close friends, and we love to beat the shit out of each other and then go and hang out after. So that's just how we like to wrestle each other. So to know that she is the first match on the Taeyong with me is like, yo, let's kill it. Like, let's do what we normally do, but we're gonna freaking kill it. And not only that, Shelton was gonna be in the crowd. Like, Shelton surprised me, and he was in town for WWE, and so he decided to come, and we filmed an up, up, down, down episode in the beginning of the day, which pretty much made my mood so much better. And then he was allowed to sit in the crowd front row for my match with AK. So it was awesome to, like, I have BRE, Shayna and Jessamine Duke in the back, and I'm wrestling another one of my good friends, Allison Kay, and then I have my big brother in the crowd. Like, it was the perfect environment for me, and me and AK killed it like we always do. And they cut this part out, but after I won the match with AK, they panned the camera to Shelton, and he has a look of disgust and disappointment and unhappiness, and just like popped everybody in the back. It was hilarious, but they didn't keep it, unfortunately. I thought it would have been cool, but yeah, it was just overall really, really cool to just have everyone I love there. And then the second match was me and Caitlyn, Celeste. And I grew up watching Caitlyn, so I was like, oh my God, I'm wrestling an OG, a WWE OG. I hope I don't fuck this up. I hope I don't piss her off. But she immediately was like, I want to kill it. I know you can go, and I want to hang with you, so let's go out there and do our thing. And I was like, she's a badass. I love Celeste. She's awesome. So immediately all of my nervousness and anxiety from, not sure how to figure out a way to work her the way that she's used to was washed away because she just wanted to freaking go. We have our match, and Terry Taylor was our agent for that match. And Terry is very old school, very simple, but we still had a really good match. And she was so fun to work. She was so fun to wrestle that, like, I don't think she's wrestling right now, but I would love to have another match with her. She was amazing. And then, like, not even an hour later, I had to have my third match with Toni Storm. Now, Toni, I have wrestled in the UK several times. And so we know each other very well. We're very familiar with each other's work, and she's cool as shit. Like, she's really cool. And so we had about an hour. My memory is really bad, so don't quote me on this, but we had about an hour to put a match together. And so it was very quick. Like, we both had to change gear. We had to call stuff as we're changing gear. It just so much pressure. But in that situation, I'm glad that I was put in a pressure situation with Toni, because it was just easy to call stuff and just go out there and do our thing. So we go out there and do our thing, have an amazing match. Like, I love working Toni. And this is the match where I lose. And when her hand gets raised, the chant, "We want Mia," begins. And
Please sign Mia! Please sign Mia! Please sign Mia! Okay.
like, I know my role my whole career. I was always a good hand. If I needed to make someone look good, if I needed to guide somebody, I know that I can do that, and I know what my role was, and I was proud of it. But once the "We Want Mia" chant started, I felt like I was finally seen. Like, it was me in the ring, and I was finally seen. Now, I know I had friends, from New York and the DMV area come down to watch the Taeyong live. So I know I had friends out in the crowd, but it was just such a, I keep saying this, but it's a feeling I will never forget, that even in loss of this match, I felt like I won. And it was just, it was crazy. But I didn't think too much of it. Like, I was very happy for that moment. So after that moment happened, it was Tegan versus Rhea, and Tegan, her knee exploded in that match. So that happened right after my match. And when that happened, it was me, Shayna, Candace, Charlie, all of us was getting Steph's stuff together to make sure that, her bag was packed, make sure that everything that she had, she didn't have to worry where it was because we were going to take care of it. So we were running around trying to get everything together, trying to pack all of her stuff, make sure, her purse, everything was set and was ready for her. And someone to go to her house to drop everything off, and someone to go with her to the hospital. So that was a chaotic moment. And then finally, when Steph went to the hospital and things started to cool down, Canyon pulled me aside and said, hey, Hunter wants to talk to you. And in my head, I'm thinking the moment of the We Want Mia chant completely just was forgotten because the focus was Tegan. And so in my head, I'm thinking, oh my God, fuck. Did I do something in the match? Did I say something? Did I piss someone off? I thought I was in trouble and I was walking to getting blackballed or something. Like I was walking to never come back ever again. So I didn't know what to expect. So the whole time I'm walking and I see Hunter and he says, were you watching when I went out there? Were you watching the show? And I was busy helping everyone getting Steph's stuff together, but you don't want to tell the head, the boss, that no, I wasn't watching the show. No, I wasn't watching what you were doing. You don't want to say that. So I don't even remember what I said, honestly. But the next thing I know is Hunter said, well, I went out there and the crowd started chanting, we want Mia. So I said, okay. And he puts his hand out and says, congratulations, welcome to the family, and hugs me. And all I remember was just being emotional and crying and not knowing what the hell just happened. Like the last hour and a half was such an emotional roller coaster because you have the positive emotions of we want Mia chant, to helping a friend because she gets hurt, to being worried about never coming back to WWE again, to being offered a job. And it was just such a crazy experience that I blacked out at that moment. I remember being emotional and crying, but it was like a decade worth of work has finally paid off. Like I've always wanted to be a part of WWE. That's why I started wrestling, was because I wanted to be a part of WWE. And after that, Canyon pulled me aside to talk about the specifics of the deal and things like that. And he was like, we have been wanting to sign you. It's just, it was never the right time or the right moment, but this was the perfect time and moment for you. So congratulations. And I told myself when I first started wrestling, by the age of 30, if I don't make it into WWE, 30 is going to be my last year. Like I'm retiring at 30 and that's that. So, and I think I was like 29 at the moment. I think I only had a couple more months. So in my head, I already was like, okay, I'm going to be retiring. I should just like wrap it up. So it was close to, I was about to check out anyway. So after that happened, I went into the back and I saw Jay Duke. Now, Jessamine is one of my best friends. I love her to pieces. All BRE is my sisters. But me and Jess are very similar with our mindset. We're very similar with how we react and how we think of things. So we really gotten close. And I remember Jess got signed about 2 or 3 months earlier before I did. And I was working my 9-to-5 job at the time, and I remember I came home and I brought in the mail and she had her contract in the mail. So she opens it up and I'm congratulating her and telling her she deserves it, and the first thing she says was, this should have been yours. I don't deserve this because this contract should have been yours. And that showed me what kind of person she was. Like I said, Jess is 1 in a billion. Like that was, I will never forget Jess saying that, because in such a happy moment, she just kind of sat back and just said that this was mine. And it was like, no, you deserve this too. Like, it was cool. It just showed what kind of person she was. But so I go into the back, and the first person I see is Jess, and I just go up to her and I tell her, Jess, they offered me a contract. And then Jess just starts crying. We're hugging each other. We're crying with each other. And it's so cool to have everything in full circle. Like, I have all of my best friends there. I have my now fiance, soon to be husband there. My best, like everyone that I love is in WWE. So finally to be a part of that with them, it was such a good time. So I call, I tell Shayna, I call my family I let Shelton know, because this was the next day, so Shelton wasn't there. So I called Shelton and let him know. And of course, Shelton being Shelton's like, oh great, I have to see you even more now, which, I love ruining his life like that. But it was just such a moment where, like I said, after 10 years of work, to finally, especially to my family, like my mom cried, my sister was excited, my dad was excited. Like, they see me as a kid watching wrestling, watching WWE. They saw me start wrestling at the age of 18, and a decade later, I'm 29, to finally have a WWE contract. And it made everything worth it at that moment. It was the best moment of my career, was the second Mae Young and earning my contract. And it was because of the fans. Like Canyon said, they were going to sign me. They just needed to wait for the perfect time and moment. And I don't know when I would have been signed if it wasn't for the Mae Young, but it was because of the fans that I am forever grateful for and appreciative that they allowed me to live out my dream and to earn a WWE contract from the Mae Young. And that is the start of this crazy WWE journey. Now, it goes up, because my time in NXT was amazing. And then it's just gonna do this. But next episode, we will be talking about my NXT experience, training, takeover, just the whole NXT time. And I hope you guys are looking forward to the continuation of this series. It's just nice to finally talk and to be open and honest about everything. And like I said, I got nothing bad to say about the Mae Young NXT. Stephanie was at the Mae Young, and she was so sweet. Like, I was stuttering and nervous meeting her, but she was so reassuring and just so kind, very kind to all of us. So, like, I got nothing bad to say about Triple H, Stephanie. NXT was amazing. I had all my best friends there. So I'm very excited to talk about my experience at NXT. It's going to be fun. So I will see you guys on the next one.
I'm going turning, keep holding me down. Yeah. 수면이 더 비추는 이 세상을 봐. No. You can never know that. 너도 알잖아.